My review rating for this was a 2.9. You guys want to know why? Make sure you stay tuned and watch the full video.
Okay.
This is AOS Reactions and welcome back to another reaction, another review. Today, guys, is going to be strictly a review. I already reacted to what I reviewed. I just reacted on my own time. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about this topic and I just kind of had to give my 2 cents. This is not going to be a long video. I'm not going to get long-winded on it. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on this because I'm on the unpopular opinion side, I would have to say. I don't think my opinion on this is going to be very popular. But I just had to say something about it. I've seen different people talk about it. One of the people I enjoyed their commentary on it was the amazing Lucas. Shout out to him. I actually watched his, and there were some things I agreed with him on, but there's some things I didn't agree with him on. Like I said, I'm on the unpopular opinion side. What I'm talking about, guys, is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I personally did not like the game that much. It felt flat for me. It fell flat. I expected more. I was super excited for this game. I think I mentioned it in one of my videos that I was going to be playing it, and I asked if you guys wanted to do a walkthrough of it. I'm kind of glad I didn't do a walkthrough of it for you guys, only because I found myself getting a little frustrated. Let me just start out with the things that I liked about this game and the things that I won't be talking bad about, because that's not the reason I wasn't a fan of the game. So I very much enjoyed the look of the game. The look of the game was great. It was amazing. All the different planets, the bugs, and the different people you interact with and everything like that. Just the whole look of the game. It looked really good, really well done, honestly. The other aspect of it that I liked was I liked the open world aspect. You know, I'm not a big explorer person in the games, but they still did a good job with it. You know, the fact that it's open world, you can go to these different areas and all that kind of stuff, that's actually a really cool aspect, and I enjoyed it. You know, I really did. I liked the fact that you could go to different, you know, planets and really fully look all throughout that planet, you know, discover different things in different areas and all that kind of stuff. I actually enjoyed that. I think they did a really great job on that. I disagree with well, kind of disagree with the amazing Lucas on the character. He seemed to not be okay with who the character was, who the main Jedi was. I didn't mind him. I didn't mind him. I thought he was okay. You know, don't get me wrong. He wasn't great, so I kind of get his thinking there. But he didn't do a bad job, and he wasn't necessarily someone I wouldn't be okay with as a Jedi for me personally. I didn't really have a problem with it. But hey, you know, to each his own. I get it. You know. Not the normal look for Jedi, I will say that. Not the normal look for Jedi, but I didn't mind him. But yeah, he was cool too. Unfortunately, that's about it for all the things that I liked. I liked the look of the game. I thought, oh, no. Actually, I take that back. The mechanics of the game weren't bad as far as the fighting. Now, there's a thing with that. I'll get to that in a second. While I did like the fighting mechanics, I think they did nicely with how sophisticated that they kind of made them, but then that's also its downfall. But we'll get into that. So basically, going into why I didn't really like the game that much, other than the things that I did like, a big chunk of this is that I'm comparing it to another game, and I wonder if you guys know what game I'm comparing it to. But I'll get to that in a second. Let's start out with the storyline. The storyline was it was kind of boring for me, to be quite honest with you. It wasn't all that interesting, and it's what I feel like we're seeing with the Star Wars movies, which the current Star Wars movies, which I think we all know is not doing that great. I had to disagree with Amazing Lucas on the story. Now, what he said about the story, that's you know, it's simpler and it's not overly convoluted and complicated. I agree with that 100%. I hate when games do that, and oh, you know, you're just not thinking high-minded enough. You're not sophisticated enough to get what the game's trying to say. It's a video game. Let's just have fun. I just want to have fun. With that being said, though, I do appreciate good storytelling, and this storytelling just fell flat for me. I don't want to, you know, spoil anything for anybody who hasn't played the game yet, but I just want to let you know, like, it's just so one track. It's very one track. If you can think of like the plot to the very first of the newest Star Wars. What was that? Star Wars: The Force Awakens, or something like that. I forgot. You guys know, with Rey and all the other characters and all that kind of stuff. The very first one. That one was literally the Death Star all over again. I think we all can agree on that. It's now, the story in this game is better than that because it's not literally a remake almost, with just different characters. But it's close to me. It's close. It's that same one note, one single, focus, and then that's it. And there's no depth. There's no twists and turns throughout the game. There's one thing where they try to play it off like a twist, but it's if you're paying attention at all, I'm pretty sure you could have guessed this so-called twist. It really just wasn't that interesting, and the characters are just not that interesting, especially the villains. The villains, they're barely into me, and they're just really not that interesting. And I know they tried to build up a lot of emotional and points in trying to get you to connect with these characters. I just couldn't really connect with them. The main character, Cal Kestis, I could connect with him. That's why I said, I disagree with Amazing Lucas on that part. I think he did a good job. I can connect with him, and get where he's coming from. The villains, not really. It's just kind of the same old with these villains. Some of the other side characters and everything. I think there's only two characters that I really could connect with and understand, and I thought, okay, they seem like there's some interesting characters here, and that's Cal Kestis and well, like I said, I don't want to give away any spoilers for people who haven't played the game. There's one other character in the game that I'm not going to spoil who it is or what they're about, but I found that character a little interesting as well. Everybody else just was kind of like, I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't care. So after the story, you get past the story, you get into the actual gameplay, and this is where, again, I'll leave this towards the end. Because again, I'm comparing it to another game. The other issue was the actual gameplay. So again, I praised it on its open world aspect, but I found that 90% of the time in the game, you're traveling. You're traveling all the time. Because it's so open world, the point you're trying to get to, it takes a very long time. And one thing that Amazing Lucas mentioned that I have to agree with, backtracking. What is this backtracking thing? You have to literally go back through everything you just went through to get to the next stage. So you're literally going forward and then you're backtracking through everything, and I just found that very annoying. I don't think I would have found it as annoying if it wasn't for the next thing that I have to mention, the fighting in this game. It annoyed me. Now I get that it's skill based, and the Amazing Lucas said that he enjoyed skill based fighting and everything like that, and I enjoyed that too, to an extent. But I just kind of got a little frustrated with it at times, and I was on the medium setting. Now here's the thing: I never died once on the medium setting. The medium setting isn't really that hard, but in saying that, because of the way the game works, and Amazing Lucas mentioned it as well, it's buggy. You have to use skill to do it, but it's bugged. It kind of counteracts itself. So basically, like you said, you hit a button and the button wouldn't respond. I can't tell you how many times I knew I parried an attack and it did not parry, and I got smacked up. I got completely smacked up, and I can admit when I missed the parry or I just messed up, and I get that. But there were times I knew I didn't miss that parry. I knew I hit the dodge button and he didn't dodge, or he didn't dodge in time. And man, when Amazing Lucas mentioned the fact that when you ask BD1 for the stim pack, it doesn't come in time. It takes a minute, and there's this whole little animation that goes with it, and it's only a second, but the enemies you fight, especially any kind of boss enemy or anything like that, or general enemy, they don't let up. There's one enemy in here. The attacks are so continuous, sometimes you don't have time to block. I can only imagine how bad it was to do the harder levels. I didn't do them. The Amazing Lucas said he did, and he said it was insane. I can only imagine, because even on medium regular mode, there are enemies, they don't let up. They just keep going and going and going and going and going. And after a minute, you're like, look, when am I allowed to attack? When am I allowed to block? How am I supposed to parry this? But getting to like the big issue I have with this game that I think really just kind of says it all is the fact that I compared this game to Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Now, I don't know if any of you ever played that game. If you haven't, I highly recommend you go check that game out. It was so much fun, and it just beat this game to me in every aspect. The only aspect I think it didn't beat it in is obviously graphics, because that game came out in like 2010, 2008 or something like that. I'm specifically talking about Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. I don't think I played the first one, but I played the second one. Storytelling, and just general fun with the powers. Oh my gosh, it is just so much more fun. First of all, the story of Star Wars The Force Unleashed is so much better. Star Wars Force Unleashed 2, if you guys don't know, it starts out as you are a clone, an apprentice clone of Darth Vader's original apprentice named Starkiller. Okay, now first of all, that's already an awesome idea. The fact that you're starting out as a Sith, you're a Sith, and you're loyal to Darth Vader, but you realize that Darth Vader doesn't really have a use for you anymore. He's aware that you're a clone and that he really just has no use for you anymore. So Starkiller, the clone Starkiller, gets a premonition and finds out that he's going to be killed and goes against Darth Vader, and that's where your story begins. And already, that's an interesting story. Plus, on top of that, he's getting visions from the original Starkiller about his old life and some of the relationships he had with the Republic and the Rebellion. And I'm just like, that story is really cool. On top of all that, the Force powers were mind-blowing, and that's where I was very disappointed with this game, with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And before you guys get on me about he's just a Padawan, he's just learning, for those of you who don't fully understand the story, and here's a little spoiler, I'm just going to give a quick little somewhat of a spoiler alert, so skip this if you want, or if you don't, that's fine. The way it was going to end, this is the way it was supposed to end. I'm not going to spoil the ending because, but I don't even have to spoil the ending because honestly, I agree with Amazing Lucas. The ending was terrible. The ending was absolutely terrible as far as storytelling. I was so disappointed and frustrated, and I'm just going to leave that at that. But for those of you who know the game, he was going to be a Jedi Master teaching younglings. Now that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go too deep into it. That's a bit of a spoiler, not too much of a spoiler, but I already told you guys spoiler, so there you go. He was going to be a Jedi Master teaching younglings. That was a big part of this story. Now, if you're going to be a Jedi Master teaching younglings, I'm sorry, you are going to need more Force abilities than push and pull. Going to Jedi Star Wars Force Unleashed, you had, let me break it down for you guys. You guys had, now the way they broke it down for your powers: the lightsaber, Force push, Force lightning, Force grip. I think I messed up the numbers. I'm sorry. Force push, Force lightning, Force grip, mind trick, and Force repulse. Now these are just your Force powers. Now they had saber throw, just saber and saber throw, but those were your Force powers right there. Now, and then you could extend those powers to do more things. Guys, when I tell you you could take a TIE fighter and crush it and throw it at the enemy, that's exactly what you could do. You felt so powerful in that game. You felt so strong and amazing. You felt like a real Jedi, like no one can touch you, I'm the man, don't even try. And then on top of all that, guys, there was a mode you could go into where you were just unstoppable, to the point where you wouldn't even really hold your lightsabers anymore. By the way, he was dual wielding lightsabers, which I was disappointed that you couldn't do in this game. Guys, you cannot dual wield lightsabers from what I saw. Maybe there was a part in the game where you could do that, but you get the like I said, I'm not gonna spoil it, but you just don't get to dual wield. You don't get to dual wield your lightsabers. I don't think that's much of a spoiler. If anything, that's a disappointment. Star Wars Unleashed, you get to dual wield lightsabers, okay? And there's a point where you can literally use the Force to literally just start slashing people with the lightsabers. You're not even holding them, you're using the Force to slash people. And the effects on it were so cool. You could cut off a stormtrooper's arms, their head. It was crazy. Guys, you had force choke. You could choke an enemy. You could pick anything up. Anything, as long as it had a little glowing thing around. You could pick anything up. You can move it anywhere you want, or you could just throw it and launch it at somebody. It was so many force powers, and the force powers were so strong, and they only got stronger. It was awesome. It was truly awesome. And between that and the story, in my humble opinion, my know nothing opinion, because I can't even say I'm a Star Wars hardcore fan. Let me just preface that I am not a Star Wars hardcore fan, so I cannot say that I know all the lore and everything. But I did see all the movies, and I really enjoy it. With that being said, guys, Star Wars Force Unleashed was a better game than this. Obviously, if they decide to do a second one, it can get better, and the force powers can, get better and grow. Like, why couldn't we do mind tricks on people? I mean, even if you weren't going to give him the electric powers because that was more of a Sith thing, fine. Can we get some more force abilities? I mean, come on, just a simple, and I'm sorry, the slowdown function. Ooh. I mean, it was really cool when we first saw it in the first Star Wars recently with Kylo Ren. Yeah, it was really cool. I that shocked me. I thought that was amazing, but can we keep it moving? Can we keep going with the force powers? You can't give me a game like Star Wars The Force Unleashed where you just have so many different powers and they're strong too. But in this game, if you meet any kind of strong opponent, the force push and the force pull does not work. It does not work on them at all. At least even on bosses in the Star Wars Force Unleashed, it would work to a degree. Now, obviously, they're a boss. I get it. It's not going to work that great, but it would work to a degree. Come on. That's my opinion, guys. Like I said, unpopular opinion. So if you guys want to dislike this and go in on me in the comments, please, by all means, feel free. I just couldn't hold back on that. It's something that I've been noticing people have been talking about the game, and ever since I played it, I just did not feel like it did Star Wars justice. It's a good starter. I'll say this: it's decent as a starter, but I have my expectations are now even higher for the second one. When this game first came out and I heard about it, my expectations were high, but they weren't astronomically high. They were decently high, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm expecting some really good things. There's, the graphics are really great now, and there's so much they can do with this. Because this one fell flat for me, the second one has to be amazing. The second one has to come in with a way better story, and please end it better. The ending was awful. It was just awful. So please end it better, but please also tell a better story. And then can we please get some force powers that are worthy for us to be called Jedi? Because honestly, all his force powers, even when you started to rank up, they were still that of a Padawan to me. It was nothing to write home about. You did not feel all that powerful, in my personal opinion. You just felt very much like a very average Jedi that would probably get killed off as a side character in the actual movie. Your powers were nothing. I mean, his master's powers were way more amazing. Are the main character's master? His powers were way more amazing. So it's just like, but yeah, that's my opinion on it. I'm just expecting a lot more. Oh, and please work out the bugs. The game is very buggy. It crashed on me. It was crazy. I didn't know what. I don't know what was happening. It froze a couple different times. I thought it was gonna crash again. There was like three or four different times I thought it was gonna crash. It crashed one time and then it just froze other times and then it came back. The buttons don't always work on time with what you're trying to do, and it's very finicky when you're jumping on ledges and stuff like that. Sometimes it doesn't take. So hopefully you guys work that out as well. Other than that, guys, please let me know your opinions in the comments about what you thought of this game. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Do you think I'm crazy and I'm insane and you thought it was absolutely amazing? Or, do you kind of agree? Just let me know what you guys are thinking. My personal rating for this game out of 5, you guys know how I do my review ratings. I'd have to give it, honestly, I'd give it like a 2.9. I give it a 2.9, guys. For me, it's a 2.9. It's very, very, very average for me. It's very average for me. It's not an amazing game, but it's absolutely not a terrible game. By no means is it a terrible or bad game, but it's not an amazing game. It's very average. It's okay. I don't feel like I wasted my money. on it, but I don't feel like it's a game that I would go back and play. You know, if I did, it would be solely for exploration, just to see all the stuff I missed throughout the game, and that would be about it. And like I said, I'm not a very big on exploring, so that was the only kind of nice thing about the game for me. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Sorry if I was a bit long-winded about this. This is kind of something that was more spontaneous because I've just been seeing people talk about it and I had to kind of jump in there. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please discuss in the comments. Love that stuff. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I will see you guys in the next reaction, in the next review. I am out. Peace.